Hedge and welcome to Sweden, the land of midnight sun and northern lights. This Scandinavian wonder is a perfect blend of natural beauty and urban sophistication. Sweden's capital, Stockholm, is a city built on 14 islands, connected by bridges and surrounded by sparkling water. Most Swedes speak excellent English and are happy to help lost tourists. When it comes to money matters, you'll be dealing with Swedish krona. Just remember, in Sweden, cash isn't king. Credit cards are accepted almost everywhere. Sweden's history is as rich and varied as a smorgasbord. It all began with the Vikings, those seafaring warriors who were as good at exploration as they were at striking fear into the hearts of their enemies. From the 8th to the 11th centuries, these bearded adventurers sailed far and wide, leaving their mark on history and quite a few European coastlines. But Sweden's history isn't all longboats and horned helmets, which, by the way, Vikings didn't actually wear. It's just Hollywood myth-making. In the 17th century, Sweden became a major European power under the rule of King Gustav II Adolf. This period, known as the Swedish Empire, saw the country expand its territory and influence. Fast forward to the 20th century and Sweden took a different path. Instead of conquering territories, they decided to conquer hearts with their policy of neutrality during both world wars. And let's not forget Sweden's cultural contributions to the world. From ABBA to IKEA and the Nobel Prizes, Sweden has been punching above its weight in global influence for centuries. Swedish traditions are as colourful as the northern lights and as warm as a cosy fire on a winter's night. Take midsummer, for example. Every June, Swedes gather to dance around a maypole, wear flower crowns and eat their weight in pickled herring. Local chef. Then there's Lucia Day on December 13th, when young girls don white dresses and wear wreaths of candles on their heads. When it comes to food, Sweden is more than just meatballs, although those are pretty fantastic. Let's talk about fika, the Swedish coffee break that's elevated to an art form. And we can't forget the infamous surströmming fermented herring that's so pungent it's often eaten outdoors. It's an acquired taste, to put it mildly. Legend has it that when a can of surströmming is opened, even the bravest Vikings run for cover. But don't let that scare you off. There's plenty of delicious Swedish cuisine to enjoy, from creamy Janssens temptation to sweet cardamom buns. Just maybe save the surströmming for your second or third or never visit. If you prefer your nature a bit less frosty, head to the Stockholm archipelago. With over 30,000 islands, islets and skerries, it's a paradise for kayakers, sailors and anyone who loves to island hop. Tour guide. For culture vultures, Sweden's cities are treasure troves of museums and historical sites. In Stockholm, the Vasa Museum houses a 17th century warship that sank on its maiden voyage. Sweden boasts 15 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including the Drottningholm Palace and the prehistoric rock carvings in Tanum. These sites offer a glimpse into Sweden's rich history and cultural heritage. And let's not forget about Gamla Stan, Stockholm's old town, with its narrow cobblestone streets and colourful buildings. It's so picturesque, you'll feel like you've stepped into a fairy tale. Just watch out for trolls under the bridges.
Section 5. Fun for all activities and entertainment in Sweden. Sweden isn't just about admiring beautiful landscapes and historical sites. It's also a playground for adventure seekers and fun lovers.
In the winter, you can try your hand at dog sledding in the Arctic Circle.
And if you've ever wanted to channel your inner Elsa from Frozen, you can stay in the famous ice hotel in Jukkasjärvi.
For those who prefer their activities a bit more vertical, Sweden offers excellent hiking and rock climbing opportunities. The Kungsleden, King's Trail in the north, is a 440-kilometre hiking trail that will make you feel like you're walking on top of the world.
When the sun goes down, Sweden's cities come alive with vibrant nightlife. Stockholm's Södermalm district is hipster central, with trendy bars and clubs where you can dance the night away.
For family-friendly fun, head to Liseberg Amusement Park in Gothenburg. With roller coasters, games and concerts, it's Sweden's answer to Disneyland.
And let's not forget about Skansen, the world's oldest open-air museum. Pro tip, the folk dancing demonstrations are a hoot, especially if you join in.
Section 6. Getting around and staying safe in Sweden. Getting around Sweden is easier than assembling IKEA furniture, and that's saying something.
Trains connect major cities and buses can get you to more remote areas. In Stockholm, the subway system is not just a way to get around, it's also the world's longest art gallery.
If you prefer to drive, be prepared for some of the safest roads in the world. Just remember to keep your headlights on at all times. It's the law. And watch out for elk crossing signs.
When it comes to accommodation, Sweden offers options for every budget and style. From high-end hotels in Stockholm to cozy bed and breakfasts in the countryside, you're sure to find a place that feels like a home away from home. For a truly unique experience, try staying in a treehouse hotel in the forests of Harads.
Safety-wise, Sweden is one of the safest countries in the world. Crime rates are low, and the biggest danger you'll likely face is overeating at the breakfast buffet. That being said, use common sense as you would anywhere else. Keep an eye on your belongings in crowded areas, and maybe don't try to pet any moose you come across.
Section 7, Swedish Etiquette and Language Basics. When it comes to Swedish etiquette, think of it as a masterclass in personal space and punctuality. Swedes value their bubble of personal space more than a squirrel values its acorn stash. Punctuality is another Swedish superpower. If a Swede says they'll meet you at 2 p.m., they mean 2 p.m. on the dot. And when you enter someone's home, always take off your shoes. While most Swedes speak excellent English, learning a few Swedish phrases can go a long way. Start with hedge, pronounced hey for hello, and tack, pronounced tack for thank you. One more thing, Swedes are masters of the awkward silence. Don't feel the need to fill every quiet moment with chatter. And if all else fails, just mention how much you love fika. Nothing brings Swedes together like the promise of coffee and pastries. Section 8, Shopping and Souvenirs. Taking a piece of Sweden home. Shopping in Sweden is like a treasure hunt, but instead of gold, you're searching for sleek design, eco-friendly products, and enough candy to give your dentist nightmares. Let's start with Swedish design. From furniture stores like IKEA to boutique shops selling minimalist home goods, you'll find plenty of ways to bring some Scandinavian chic into your life. For fashion lovers, Swedish brands like H&M, COS, and Acne Studios offer stylish clothes that will have you looking like a Stockholm hipster in no time. When it comes to souvenirs, skip the tacky Viking helmets and go for something authentically Swedish. A Dalar horse, a painted wooden horse that's a symbol of Sweden, makes a great gift. For the foodies in your life, consider bringing home some Swedish treats. Lingonberry jam, crisp bread and salty licorice are all popular choices. Just a word of warning about the licorice. It's an acquired taste. And if you're feeling brave, you could always bring home a can of surströmming. Just make sure to declare it at customs. They might mistake it for a biological weapon. Section 9. Final thoughts why Sweden should be your next adventure. As we wrap up our Swedish adventure, you might be wondering, why should I visit Sweden? Well, let me count the ways. First, where else can you dance around a giant phallic symbol, the Midsummer Maypole, and call it a cherished cultural tradition? Nowhere, that's where. Second, Sweden is a country that takes its coffee breaks so seriously they've turned it into a verb. Let's Fika isn't just an invitation for coffee, it's a lifestyle. Third, Sweden is a place where you can experience 4 distinct seasons, sometimes all in one day. Lastly, Sweden is a country that manages to be both cutting edge and traditional at the same time. It's a place where you can pay for your meatballs with your smartphone, then eat them in a restaurant that's been around since the 18th century. So pack your bags. Don't forget a warm sweater, even in summer. Brush up on your ABBA lyrics and get ready for a Swedish adventure. Skål, cheers to that.